You're listening to the Meaningful Minutes with Nikki Olson podcast. This is a show for busy Latter-day Saint women who want to learn simple tools to feel confident and inspired in 10 minutes or less. Welcome. On this episode, we will discuss 3 gifts to give yourself this holiday season. Okay, first of all, I have to know, do you buy your own Christmas gifts? I go back and forth each year. Sometimes I completely leave it up to my husband and kids. Sometimes I just buy all the gifts, my gifts, and tell my husband it's taken care of. And sometimes I do a mixture of both. I would love to hear how you do things in your family. Pop over to social media and let me know what you do. Well, the gifts we're going to talk about today actually don't even cost money. I'm going to talk about 3 gifts you can give yourself that don't cost money and can actually save you time in the long run. I know that for me, when I take better care of myself, I am so much better prepared to care for others. It's like the oxygen mask analogy. You need to be taking care of your own oxygen first so you have the energy to care for others. Making yourself a priority can greatly improve your life and ability to connect with others. Actually, studies have shown that the benefits of connecting with yourself during the holidays are that you reduce your risk of depression, you have more satisfaction, greater happiness, better sleep, and more energy. Who doesn't want that? I would like to add that when you are caring for yourself, you have a greater ability to connect with God. Like I talked about last week in my Managing Holiday Stress podcast, that the Savior sometimes takes a backseat to our holiday celebration because we're too exhausted after cramping in everything else. So, I want to know, are you making the time for yourself this holiday season? Are you putting yourself last on the list or first? Well, I'm going to dive into 3 gifts you can give yourself that don't cost money and will help you restore your energy, confidence, and motivation. The first one is the gift of self-compassion. Who else is the queen of beating themselves up, judging, comparing, and ruminating on all the negative? Did you know that focusing on our weaknesses takes precious time away from what we want to be doing? We often think we could save ourselves time if we could just have something different. When in reality, compassion is what will save you time. Here's an example that you might resonate with. Let's say you've been so busy this holiday season, you haven't even made neighbor gifts this year. Then the doorbell rings and your neighbors show up at your door with a gift or a plate or a gift bag full of homemade holiday treats. I know you. You start feeling guilty or pressured into giving something back in return, even though you don't have time, energy, or motivation. Instead of beating yourself up for not being enough, give yourself some self-compassion by showing gratitude for being thought of and loved. Show gratitude out loud to that person and in a prayer that someone is caring for you and showing you love. Just because someone does something nice for you doesn't mean you have to return the favor in the same way. One way I try to extend self-compassion is try to think of what I would tell a friend in that same situation. So if a friend was telling me that they just experienced that situation, what would I tell them to do? Would you tell them to get in the kitchen and bake some cookies? No. You would tell them to enjoy and recognize all the things that you're already doing. You do not have to be Superwoman to prove your worth. In fact, the best way to feel like Superwoman is to connect with Christ and feel His enabling power. When you can connect with Christ and feel His compassion for you, then you no longer feel like you need to prove your worth to other people. So, I would encourage you to give yourself the gift of self-compassion this holiday season and decrease that stress. All right, I'm going to interrupt this episode for just a moment because the holidays are fast approaching. Yes, I said it. You heard me right. The holidays will be here before you know it. And you know what gifts I always forget until the last minute? My neighbor gifts and my little friend gifts. Then I'm scrambling for something cute at the last minute and I end up way overpaying. Can you relate? Well, I got you covered. Have you seen my new meaningful prayer journal? This simple, inexpensive, yet powerful gift helps you feel Christ's enabling power, see the hand of God daily, and gain knowledge and understanding through prayer. Also, if you know anyone in a Relief Society presidency, this would be a great Christmas gift for their sisters. I even offer a discount on bulk orders. Just click the link in my show notes and get yours pre-ordered today. All right, back to the episode. All right. The second gift you can give yourself this holiday season is the gift of time. Who doesn't want more time? I don't think that more time would actually help though. I know for myself, when I have more time on my hands, I actually get less done. That's because when I don't have time, I tighten down on a few things that make a huge difference and often give me back time. It's not really about extending the day. It's about connecting with a source that can help you prioritize your day and know what is the most valuable thing you could be spending your time on. Think about it. Wouldn't you save a ton of time if you could talk to the one person that knows the end from the beginning? The ways that I do this are making sure that I have a time of day that I'm intentionally connecting with God. I set aside time every day to have meaningful prayers and ask the Savior to help me, which is another great way to save time. If you yoke to the Savior daily and receive help with the small things in your day, you will exponentially get more done. The Savior is there ready and willing to help you. Be sure to ask, but you have to be sure to ask and let Him help you. All right, now on to the third one, which is the gift of decluttering. Now, I'm not talking about decluttering stuff. I'm talking about decluttering your life with the things that are causing you to feel disconnected from yourself, others, and God. Think about those things that are causing you to especially feel disconnected from yourself. Here are some things you could think about decluttering from your life. Number 1, social media time. Are you spending more time on social media than other priorities? Or are you coming away from social media feeling worse? Then you may want to look at who you are following and how much time you're spending on there. In fact, this really is a struggle for you. I'd encourage you to take a look at my 10-day social media break that I recorded back on episode 8 of the podcast, where I walk you through how to do that. And then I link the handout I'll link the handout that I had from that episode of the questions to ask yourself after that 10-day social media fast. You will also declutter. One other thing that you can declutter from your life that will help you save time is to connect with God. If not, what I meant to say was you can also declutter your schedule so that you have enough time to connect with God. If not, remember what I said about how connecting with God can actually save you time. And finally, you could declutter your inner critic. Remember what I said about self-compassion? Actually, decluttering your inner critic is one of the skills that I teach in my Removing Roadblocks to Revelation group coaching program. I'll be opening the next roundup here in January. If you want to be notified when it opens, I'll put the link in my show notes so you can get on the wait list. Also, you can still purchase my Managing Holiday Stress workshop, where I teach you some of those skills. I'll link that here in my show notes too. And I hope that you will pick one of these gifts to give yourself this holiday season so that you can enjoy the reason for this season even more. Okay, I hope you have a happy holidays. I won't be releasing a new episode next week, so I will see you after Christmas. Merry Christmas! I hope these minutes you spent with me were meaningful, helped you feel inspired, and more confident. Check out my show notes for links to my website, social media, and free handouts for remembering how to implement the skills. I know there are other women that could use this information. Leaving a review is a great way for other women to hear this message. If you'd like more daily inspiration and guidance, please come find me on Instagram at Nikki Olson Coaching. If you share this episode, please tag me. I love to connect with my listeners. Thank you for listening to the Meaningful Minutes podcast with Nikki Olson.